I just wanted you to get a quick, just as we get started, just like a quick something from you concerning the conversation today, and then we get to it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm looking for it to be for the conversation to be both ways, not one-sided. It's not like we are a repository of knowledge or something like that. So yeah, it should be fun. One hour.
Sure. All right. So I also want to hear from you. Do you have to say to us?
Yeah, copying and pasting exactly what he
Yeah.
said.
I actually expected this. All right. So
I just
let's.
copied and pasted what Sedem just said right now. Yeah, I think it should be a very wonderful interactive session. I don't think it should be us just talking and trying to act as if we are the gods of anything. I'm pretty sure I can learn a lot from the call. I'm personally here to copy a lot from Sedem, so let's see how it goes.
Makes sense. Valid.
Yeah.
All right. So let's just get into it then. So just like our very first thing, most of us keep hearing about, um, you've got a great idea. Someone has a great idea, and the first thing they do is they hop straight in, building like nobody's business, right? We want to understand. So when you get a great idea, we keep hearing that great ideas are not enough because we end up getting people who um have built very solid ideas and people didn't care about it. Nobody gave 2 cents about it. So we just want to have your perspective on this, right? What's the single most important factor that separates a good idea from a good business? Like, what's that thing that separates you from just being a good idea or building a good product and actually making a very good business? So, Sedem, could you start with us?
Well, that's pretty much quite simple. A good idea is anything that will advance humanity. So long as the idea will one way or the other advance humanity or make someone's life better or easier or improve or make some existing process efficient, that's a good idea. But then
Okay.
a good business idea is somebody willing to pay for it economically. So it's pretty much straightforward. The only thing is that a good business idea is already a good idea, but not every good idea is a good business idea. It's pretty much straightforward.
So with this particular thing, right, a good idea, a good business is actually a good idea. But then we see a lot of times where people start out with a good idea, right? It's a good business on paper, everything makes sense, but then the market doesn't immediately respond to it. Let's say something like Airbnb. Clearly, Airbnb was a good idea, right? But you notice like it took a while for it to actually pick up. So how do you actually see, like, what do you say about something like that? It's good business. It's a good idea, but then it kind of took a while for actually to have it like pick up.
Well, I mean, Airbnb. Well, since you mentioned it, let's talk about it. It's it's something that you like to say. They started quite on a fresh note. There was not anybody doing exactly what they were doing. I mean, there were hotels, but then Airbnb we all know is not hotels. It's people. Listing their apartments or their rooms up for grabs for people that are traveling. Gives much more different feeling than people going to stay at a hotel and all that stuff. So if something is new, of course, you know that it take time for people to jump on it. But then right from the onset, ABM has quite some solid and good numbers. Good check. The thing I mentioned earlier on, probably maybe you might have missed it, but I was trying to say that for every idea that's a good business idea, it's already like a good idea. The only thing that separates a good idea from a good business idea is that a good idea, as I said earlier on, is any idea that actually improves like an existing process, makes it efficient, or makes people's life easier, or like probably just makes, advance humanity. But then a good business idea has to be a good idea that someone or people are willing to pay for. Economically, there have to be something that has to be made from it. That's what made the business, the business, underlying the business. There have to be like people willing to give economic value for that particular idea or solution. That's what makes a good idea a good business idea. So long as you found a group of people willing to pay for a particular service or product that you're offering, of course, and it's sustainable. The payment is sustainable. It's not something that people do one time they're out, out they don't do it again. It has to be something people are willing to come back to over and over again. But yeah, you got yourself like a very good business idea. The rest is just to make it efficient and maybe scale it up to reach much more people. Yeah. And
Wow.
that's what made Airbnb look like it took a while. Because of course scaling will take a while. When you want to scale, then you go beyond just having a good idea. There's a lot of factors. There's marketing, there's reach and all of that stuff. So probably going to take a while.
All right. So just piggybacking from this, should money be the very first thing you think about when you think about like a good product, like building actually something good?
Of course, if you want to build a business, what you are in business. What's your business if you are not making money?
Mm-hmm.
Then it's a hobby.
Okay.
Let's just serious. So I mean, I'm not against people building stuff. There are some stuff you want to build for fun, or people have different reasons why they are building stuff. Maybe if you want to start a non-profit, it's fine. That's okay. But then if you are in business, of course, the first thing is always money, and the last thing is always money. It's all revolves around money. Are you making money or are you not making money?
So, Sedem, you know the thing about this particular thing, let's say for devs, right? What we notice is that most developers will start working on something, and then instead of giving it the time for the product to actually like grow, the first thing is, I mean, probably with your MVP, you're already looking for ways to cash out, right? I'm just like coming from this, I just want to understand, see if I were that kind of developer, right? Is it a good idea to have that kind of mindset, or it's like, okay, so I'm looking at money, but then there's a way to go about it where I still end up making the most of it without having to see blow it out prematurely, more or less. Do you get me?
Yeah, so Jerry, you want me to be honest with you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think over the years, when people do stuff over and over, they come to get like a clearer picture and
Okay.
approach exactly what you want. Different people do different things for different reasons.
Okay.
Maybe a developer is building a new product because they want to acquire a new skill or they find a particular need they want to solve and all of that stuff. It's a good idea, all of that stuff. But if at the beginning, like from where I sit right now, because I'm sitting, so I won't say where.
Yeah.
From where I sit right now, if you want to build something, it's a business. The first thing you should actually even think about is trying to find a customer or someone that's willing to pay for it before you even waste time trying to do it.
Okay.
Before you start talking about your MVP competitions and all of that stuff. There have to be a persona or like a group of people that are willing to actually put money into that. And good for you, even if they are willing to give you the money already before you start building. It makes way much more sense. I'm not even going to mince words about this particular one. If you are building a business, please, money is very important. In fact, paying customers, people that are willing to pay for whatever you're doing, it's the number one on the list. Know how beautiful your idea is or how timely and all of that. Nah. From where I sit, get people to pay for it first before you even bother with it. If
Okay.
you can.
Wow. Thanks very much, Sedem. I think this is actually very clear. Um, it's I think it's something I'd been reading about. I followed a bit of a conversation on this earlier where it says test the product by actually bringing it to customers and then finding out if they're actually ready to pay for it before you even go out to build it. I mean, it has a lot to do with Scrum and stuff like that, but if people are not even interested in the first place, you're probably missing out. All right, so thank you very much, Sedem, on this. Isaiah would want to pick back. I mean, we want to have this with you. I just want to ask this question. So, thinking back on the projects you've built in the past, right? What's the first thing you do after you get like the new idea, and how do you know if it's even worth pursuing? I believe Sedem has thrown light on it, but I also want to hear your thoughts on this. Hello, Isaiah.
Yeah, we got, yeah,
Okay.
come again. Sorry.
Yeah.
Had
So,
an emergency, so I had to attend to it.
okay. So I'm saying that say you've got the idea, right? Everything is
Yeah.
good to go. What's like your first steps to get started with it? Like, what's the first thing what are the first actions you take?
Okay, I'll say what you shouldn't do first. So I think most of the time, yeah, mostly tempted. Once you get an idea, you're mostly tempted to build, right? Then you start calling your other developer friends. Yo, I have this cool idea. I don't want to build, bro. Right? can you sort me out? What tech stack are we using? How much compute should we buy? Are we using AWS, Google Cloud? Like once they get the idea, especially those with tech background, they fall into that trap of thinking more about the products that they are building and the people that are actually going to benefit from the idea that they are getting. So once you get a great idea, because obviously the difference between a great idea and a good business is execution, right? So because you have a cool idea, the only difference between that and a business running is that you've not executed it yet. So what you have to do is most of the time, if you're having any cool idea, great idea that you want to bring out, you should actually validate the idea first in the market. And doing that is not difficult, right? So I'll use Flip as a case study. And during that time when I think somewhere around 2021 when I got the idea for Flip, it was just campus businesses, these guys selling jerseys and the rest. And then I realized that anytime you buy from them, the whole idea of delivery wasn't really outgrown like that, right? So then you ask them, and then they say, "Oh, I have this guy that could deliver it to you. I have this guy that can deliver it to you. My delivery guy is not available yet. This, that, that." I realized these were a lot of businesses on campus that if they really want a successful business, it means they need to get a delivery guy. They need two solid guys that will be running their errands for them. At that time, Yango, the likes of Yango, boats, they were not that popular. This is 2021. Yango wasn't even getting the idea to do that. Boats was
I'm thinking Isaiah is probably having network issues. Okay, so while we wait for Isaiah to come back, we would want to pick up with Sedem. All right, so Sedem, I'd want to. I mean, we've started talking about the fact that it helps to
okay.
actually.
So
Okay, Isaiah is here. So Isaiah, let's.
um,
Yeah, we're listening to you.
yeah, jump off a bit.
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
Yeah, so then am I clear? Am I clear or is it still breaking?
yeah, you're clear.
All right. All right. So then I was saying then, I mean, then it means there's a potential business with this because then the customers need it. So then if we are able to create a hub where we have about 20 traders that are just fulfilling orders for student entrepreneurs, then it makes their business easy. It also makes the consumers also their purchasing experience also cool as well. So then I didn't just start right away building products. Really just I started asking a couple of students, okay, sure. So should we have an station where you're just in your room and then you want to buy groceries, you want to purchase something from someone and they're saying they don't have a delivery available, but then you could just put a drop off and then a pickup point and then let a rider fulfill that for you and would you want such a thing? He said, oh, yeah, yeah, like that would be great. I mean, I think we did a survey for about 50 to, 100 students. They were mostly my mates back in computer science in K University. And then we went to the businesses and they were saying that one of the challenges they were facing was trying to get riders to even start a business. So it means if you are going to have a system like this, it means everyone can just start a business right away, knowing very well that at the end of the day, they are going to have like riders that are going to fulfill the orders. So what we started out with, well, it wasn't even with the app itself. We were actually doing the business. We went we put the number out there where the students could call and they say that, yeah, Isaiah, I need a rider to fulfill this order for me. I take the pickup, I take the drop off, and then the riders were doing it. And through that, we're learning a lot about the business and we're using that to fine tune the application as means to eliminate the human interaction and then make it more technology inclined. So that took us a lot of months. And I think Jeremiah, you're witness to that because we got the idea somewhere in October 2021. We land somewhere in June 2022. So that is the trap that you shouldn't fall into. The moment you get a great idea, you need to make sure you are validating the idea. It is an idea that people would want to use. You're not supposed to be money minded, profit minded right from the start. If it's any idea you have, it's just to make life easier for your consumers or your end users. That is the goal of whatever engineering or whatever discipline that you are into. So then you need to make sure you are validating that. Once you realize that this is a product that is in demand, it's a product you are going to get 10, 15, 20 people signing up for or wanting to buy from you.
Okay, so we'll just continue. Once he's back, we'll let him continue with explaining what he's been talking about. All right, so Sedem, would want to get come back to you. So right now we've talked about the idea, validating it, and then making sure it's something people would pay for or would be interested in, right? Now we want to get to like building out the MVP. I believe when you decide to build a product, for those of us who are new to this, MVP simply means your minimum viable product, right? So the most basic version of the product that is actually going to save the customers the um it's going to solve the problem for the customers as you are selling it to them, more or less, right? So Sidem, I just want to hear from you, like, when it comes to the MVP, what goes into, like, what's the journey like? Okay, so now we finished validating the idea and it checks the boxes and we know this is something that people want. How do we get to building the product? It's possible to build a product and then you end up doing something else, I believe. So we just want to hear from you, like, what's the journey like?
Jerry, that happens almost all the time where people set out to build an MVP after validating an idea and end up building something that the market is not ready for or is not interested in using.
Yeah.
I think there's a clear way to actually mitigate that. Like what I said earlier about, if possible, getting users or a user, someone that you are building for that they are willing to give economic value back to you or pay for whatever you are doing. If you're able to get that thing done right from the onset, then you'll be building using that user as the yardstick, right?
Yeah.
So you are in a close feedback loop where you have someone that is on the other side that's interested at the other side, like a user that's interested in whatever you are doing. So as you are building, I mean, you don't wait to build everything before you onboard that user, give them access to the platform or product or whatever you are building. As you are building, they are using, and then they will be providing you with real life like feedback. What exactly the products or the service is doing for them? What else can it do to make it much more appealing or a tool that they will be willing to come back to every day to use, right? So if you get someone in that, I'm sure most of you might have heard of this new concept called MLP, Muslava Arivali. Meaning we have a minimum, uh, what do you call it, minimum viable product. There's a new concept called MLP with a minimum lovable product. So
Interesting.
lovable product simply means that the product is now, even though it has minimum features, is not over bloated, it's the users are able to use it to complete whatever task they set out to do. It's so good that they keep on coming back to it, right?
Yeah.
So start building like a minimum viable product, but you have a customer or a client that you are actually in a closed loop with regards to feedback. They are using and give you like real life feedback, and yeah, updating or upgrading whatever you are doing. Within a short time, you could easily get to like building a minimum lovable product, and then you might actually open it up for more people to actually join. Maybe yeah, beta or whatever you want to call it. Everybody calls it whatever name they fancy. So yeah, again, getting somebody or getting a client that you are building for is very, very much important. Apart from the validation of somebody willing to pay for what they are doing, they also serve as, serve as a resource for you to build for, because they are using it for whatever task they want to accomplish in real life and whatever value it gives them. They will be able to give you like proper feedback, and then you take their feedback and make it better. Because mostly, if you are building, let me make an example. Let's say you are building for an industry, let's say insurance. Most of the times, for people that disrupt new industries, they are not mostly from the industry. So let's say even if you are building for insurance right now, you are not in insurance. So it's always best if you have a client already. That's number one, willing to pay. That validates the thing economically. And number two, because they are in insurance, when you start building, they'll be giving you proper feedback, right? And driving a direction of your product. And by the time you are, let's say, spend a few months, like 2, 3 months building for them, and they are now saying, okay, this okay source basically it will be even much easier for you to onboard other insurers in the insurance industry. Then from there, you can think about maybe scaling or all of that stuff. So yeah, getting somebody to build for, even when you are building an MVP, through to building an MLP, it's very, very much important.
Wow, this is solid. I think it's the first time I'm actually hearing the MLP, which is like the minimum lovable product, and the fact that it's actually very important to have someone you're building with. Um, I think for those in the developer space, you would know this agile methodology, which has to do with like working directly with users, or at least working for the person, like building for the direct user and then having their feedback while you're building. And I believe it's something that's consistently solid. Isiah, if you're back, please get me a reaction so I know if you're here. But Sedem, I believe you've built certain things that didn't work out, right? Could you share with us what the experience was like, probably what lessons you picked up, and then how, what we could also learn from that?
Well, yeah, it's true. I've tried doing a few cool stuff and not so cool stuffs in the past, right? The lessons I've learned is what I was trying to share up front. See, when you asked the first question, that was the first thing I was iterating on. Get someone willing to pay for whatever it is you're thinking about before you commit to it. Because at the end of the day, you are not building for fun. Unless, of course, you are building for fun, which I don't believe a lot of people are building for fun, right? You need to be honest about the whole thing. I think for the first time when people are building stuff, I mean, from experience, when we are early building stuff, you are only excited about the idea of you building something. So most of the time, that excitement actually, you get carried away. So there's this saying that first time founders are only much interested and happy about whatever they are building for. But second time founders are interested in distribution.
Okay.
Distribution in the sense that no matter what you are building, if nobody is willing to use or is not being used, is I don't know. You are better off not putting it in the first place. So I don't want to mention like specific products that I've worked on in the past, but like this is like the core learnings I've over the past half of a decade of me trying to build stuff. This is what I've gotten from what I've been so far. And so far, so good. I'm not going to lie to you. For everything, for the current things that I'm involved in right now, with the current products that I'm dabbling around building and all of that stuff, if I don't get anybody willing to use, we don't bother. We
Yeah.
don't bother. Like, so first we saw the idea. So maybe let me give you like a walk. We wanted me to give you a walkthrough of how I approach it these days, right?
Yeah.
So we got the idea. I mean, we are human. So if you have a need, there's a high possibility the next guy to you also have that need. But that's not enough validation. So we get an idea, try to read around it. Are there like other solutions solving those problems? If they are already and we are still interested in building, what are we going to add to ours that will give it like a unique selling point, right? Something that makes ours much more desirable or lovable. Like what I was telling you about the minimum lovable product. What gives us the edge over the existing ideas already in the market? Now, when we get that, we work on a pitch, right? So for every founder, it's very, very important for you to become like a salesperson. Because whether I like it or not, you're number one salesman for your whatever you're building. So we prepare a pitch. It does not mean that we go and sit down and write a pitch. Like we prepare what to actually sell to someone without having anything in hand, like a physical product. Then we map out which people or which organizations do we think are the best fits as customers for whatever we are trying to do. Then we approach them and sell to them. We want to do this and this for you, for this and that, and give you this in return. Think of it as an investment. The money the customer or organization is paying us is their investment, and then the ROI is the value that our product is going to give them in return. So we take all the responses from all these people we talk to. Then we get to know, okay, is this something these organizations or people are willing to pay for? Are we really solving a real problem? Because most of the people you speak to might have been using other products already. Most often they'll be generous enough to even tell you the product they are using to solve those problems and what they think these products can do better to make their lives easier, right? So right from the onset, before you even touch something to do something, you are already collecting feedback on what you need to put into whatever it is that product or service that you are already like trying to do. So when we now realize that okay, we have a good number of people that are willing to pay for this, then we now check, is this a high effort, high reward thing or a low effort? You get where I'm coming from? Like how much
Yeah.
going to put into this? What's the reward we are going to get back? The best place to be would be to get something that is low effort by high returns, right? If
Yeah.
you are he hits that level, nice. Then now you try to convince someone that's willing to walk the journey with you, or an organization that's willing to walk the journey with you. As in, when you start building, they are willing to be onboarded and be using it and be giving you feedback in real time to make it better. If you are able to walk through from what I said from the beginning to the point where you get an organization that's willing to walk the journey with you, you are almost through it. So right off the bat, you have somebody that's paying for it already. And if you are lucky, they are willing to put their money where their mouth is. They would have already started paying you at the beginning before you even start building. And they become your number one ambassadors as well, telling other people in their network or other organizations in their network about the tools they are using and how it's helping them. So that for me, where I sit now over the years, this is how we run things now. If we don't, all these check marks, we don't get to check. The most important one be getting someone willing to pay for this. No matter how much you love the idea, you have to let it slide because we are not a charity organization.
Solid. Sedem, thank you very much. I'm honestly loving this conversation. I legit wish we could have like a part two of this. This is good, honestly. All right, so Sedem, thank you very much once again. Isiah, I want to get back to you. And we are speaking about your journey with Flip and how you're validating the idea and um, how far it had come. But we lost you in the course of your explanation. So if you could just hop in and then we'll get back to it.
Yeah, there are a couple of wizards hijacking my system. They don't want me to share my nuggets. So I'm suspecting Sedem. I don't know why, but I'm suspecting it's possible because every
Well,
single time
that
I
could
try
be
to
true.
speak,
That
then it goes my
nice. So I mean, it's not what they say all the time.
interterrestrial. You should get it, Charlie. Crazy. Okay. But I think Sedem actually has ended the path that I was on. I think I was speaking more about validating the idea, right? Yes, yes. I summarized it neatly. What happened in our case is that after we were able to get both parties wanting to use their system, that is when we decided to use to start building. But whilst we were building, we were manually running the business itself. So we're already earning from the idea before the product even came to market to make lives easier for the users. So I used to get calls a lot, I'll be writing the numbers down, writing location, manually controlling these riders, telling them go to Africa or go pick this Jesse, go and deliver it to this person, blah blah blah. We're just doing that, getting feedback from the riders, getting feedback from the users, getting feedback from the vendors as well. And at the end of the day, we were able to bring the products out. And what we did, I think within 3 days we had 500 signups.
Yo.
Yeah, but yeah, when I think if you remember, the wave was actually
Yeah,
serious
it
in
was
Get USD
mad.
when
Yeah, I
it came out
remember.
because like, yo, what's up with Isaiah? Because this guy is supposed to be a student leader. What is he doing with it? Yeah, so there was a whole fandom around it because we were already making noise, speaking about it, and then we knew we were going to get their money. So I think Sedem was saying something that if you are even um, lucky, you could get people paying you even before the product is out. And that's what's in our case. We had an investor way earlier before the product even came out. I mean, the first investment he gave us was in upwards of 20K just to make sure that we set the systems right, bring it out, and then we can enjoy the ROI in the future.
Yeah.
So that should always be your blueprint. And I like the last thing he said. He said that we are not a charity organization. It is true. See, the thing is that most of the ideas that you're having has already been implemented well by like strong organizations with much bigger resources. So you shouldn't sleep one day and wake up and say, "Wow, this was sent from heaven. This is truly angelic. This is an idea I believe nobody has seen." You see, we make that mistake a lot, and
Yeah.
you just jump straight. You're writing. now this is really going to break the world. I'm the next magazine. No, you are not, because somebody might have done it so well. They have like battalions sponsoring and investing in that idea. That should not hinder what you are doing. Once you have it, and then you are able to validate the idea, know very well that you have interested persons wanting to use your product, whether it's a free product, whether it's a paid product. Once you know you have people willing to commit to the product that you are building, that is when you should put your energy inside. Currently, we are working on one product at Vena. I think I've spoken about it a couple of times when I meet and fellow techies like this. And it is the same. It is the same blueprint that I used. And then now we know very well that once we come out, the the ecosystem is going to adapt. They're going to make use of it, and it is going to solve critical problems. So we start having meetings as far back as 2023 when we met like transport heads, the SRC. Like I've even had meetings with the provost on like how this product is going to solve that critical issue the students are facing right now. We have a lot of sign-ups waiting. So don't always get that feeling, just get enthused, so happy, so hyped that you have an idea, so you just want to jump straight into doing that. As I said, the very big difference between a good idea and a good business is execution. And at the point of you having your idea, you've not executed that yet. The process of execution is what we are saying. That once you have the idea, go out and make that effort in validating your idea and making sure that it's something that is worth building. And there are a lot of success stories around these. You hear a lot of like startup founders, product leads. Whenever they are speaking, they will tell you that is one process that they never miss. You make sure that you are validating that idea. It's an idea that people will want to commit to, and then you commit resources to that. I think that's what I would say concerning that.
All right, this is actually solid. I think what's one thing I'm starting like I mean it's something that we hear a lot, right? Where people tend to be mesmerized by the hype. I'm building a product and like I'm trying to like be loud about it. But then a common theme I'm noticing is the fact that you find sort of like a small section of the entire um market, all right, or like the target market, and then push it to them, test it with them consistently, make sure like it's actually solving their problem very well, and then you blow it, right? What's your take on like the general craze around having to have it hyped? I mean, pushing with hype too early, trying to, people kind of have this motivation thing where, I mean, you have to commit externally and stuff like that. Clearly, I'm not seeing that so much here. I mean, I just want to hear your thoughts on it. So what's your take on stuff like that?
Are you speaking on marketing?
I mean, not just marketing necessarily, just like I believe marketing comes around when like the product is fully live and publicized,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
but I see situations where people try to hype the product way before it started. I know there's
yeah.
obviously going to be like, depending on the type of product, there's going to be an upside to that or a downside to that. I just want to understand for, say, someone who is here who wants to build something, right? Like you said, you just woke up and the idea comes to mind and you already post it and wants people to know about it, right? I just want to know what's your take on something
I
like
think
that.
yeah, I think that's what Sedem was talking about.
Mm.
Like to be honest, if you want to make noise about anything whatsoever, it means you've done all these processes that you've talked about on the call.
Yeah.
Like you should do it. It is very important. Until you know you have the go ahead, you have the support, you have the resources to commit to that project. There's no need to get hyped about it. Sharing with your network, guys, I have this idea that I'm building. If anyone like that is not important. And I think it's one thing I've realized a lot about like the up and comings. Yeah, they're just so excited about the fact that they've had this angelic revelation from God that this is what is going to set the world apart. They rush too much when it comes to that, right? You need to make sure that you are validating that idea. That it is not a matter of witchcraft. I'm just trying to say like when you tell people it will get but no, that is not it. Like you need to validate the idea. Is this something that people want? Is something that I mean you're always going to go to sleep, wake up and you have emails, calls from end users. it is something to get worked up about. Once you validate those things, trust me, coming online and hyping it up is also one way of even trying to crowdfund your users. Yes, it's also another method of
Mm.
trying to sort of see if people engage with you. If people will
Yeah.
say, hey, if people will say, hey, it's a good idea. The point is, if you've not validated it, don't go and do that yet. Yes, that is important. It's a style some people would like. That's a style I don't do. For me, until I'm done and I have something to show for, I don't come and say, hey, I have an idea and you guys should watch out in the next 2 months. No, I'm not going to let anyone or the public give me any pressure to do anything. Once I validate it, I go straight into making sure putting things in place. But if you are also someone that after getting all these things in place, you want to go out there and let people know that this is what you are doing, that's also fine. It's a way of getting the idea out there, trying to see if people will engage with it, if people will throw more ideas, if people will try to fine tune what you are saying. That's also cool. It's a nice way of trying to source information. But don't go and do that when you wake up from your sleep that night and say, "Thank you, Lord Jesus. This is great. This is dope. This is the way. This was going to make me my first $1 million. Let's go." Nah,
Wow, I
you need
love
to.
this. Yeah, that's good. So I have this thing, right? So I noticed that um there's the need for feedback, right? Clearly, Sedem mentioned this. He also came to mention this. The fact that you need constant feedback from users, right? So I just want to understand. Um, I know a situation where once you build, every user seems to have an opinion about everything. And I believe once it fully comes out, there's going to be the need for taking user inputs and then actually developing, oh, this app, you could do it this way, or this app, the way it says, I'm sure if you added this, it would be nice. So, like that kind of thing, right? um as a business owner or as a product owner, how have you handled like navigating that kind of thing once the product fully comes out? I like
It's
that
a
Sedem
tricky
is already
line.
laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's actually a tricky line. It's a tricky line. There are three types of users. There are ones that specifically and they've made it their sole mission to antagonize your product. They are not giving you any real review. They're just saying that whatever you build, sorry to say, is shit. Like this is so bad. I can't log in. I can't do this. They're just complaining, right? They know very well that like what they are saying is not valid. They just want to write that store review to give you a bad rating. They are there. They are those that are like seriously frustrated to the point that you force them to give you a feedback. And then there are those that just want to help you improve. In all things, all I'll say is that listen. Because users help you build your product more than you know. That's the truth. They are the end, they are the ones using it. And I don't develop even developers we go through this. You see, you have an issue or you have a task or you are fixing. And as you're working on the product, as you're working on the feature, once you're done building or you have the application or system in front of you, you sort of know exactly where to click to make sure that use case works, right?
Yeah.
Then you give this to a user and they press anywhere they want and all
Oh
of a
my
sudden
gosh.
everything comes down, right? And sometimes you get frustrated, but the truth is that they are rather showing you how you can make sure that the app is solid, has a very good foundation, it's not going to break easily. So you're not supposed to get in your feelings and say, but what sensible user will go and press it? No, bro, you're getting like you're falling so much in love with like something that is so liable like a code, right?
Yeah.
So you need to listen. That is the truth. You need to listen, like, and you need to know the ones that are intentionally antagonizing your products. Like for real, everybody is saying they can log in. Everyone is saying that they love your onboarding experience. Then once some person out of nowhere comes and says that this is shit, this is shit. Like this morning I was trying to log in 8 hours and I was still wasn't able to log into your system. Yeah, try to let your guys test it. Once they test it out, sure, it's fine. Just get it out of the way. But most of the time, you have frustrated users, you have users that are helpful. When they are speaking to you, just listen. However stupid you think it is, try to be in their shoes, simulate their experience, and see how you can fine tune your products. Yeah, so that's what I can say concerning
Solid.
user feedback.
Solid. Thank you very much, Isaiah, on this. Sedem, I would really love to hear your thoughts on this as well.
Yeah, you see, I think me, everything I'm saying, I've been revolving around just one thing. if you were able to get people that were paying you for this from the beginning, you will be listening to, you focus on, like I have a rule. If you are not paying me for this, your feedback, I don't take it that much serious. I'm being honest, because you are not paying me. So if
Yeah.
you have
Straight
someone
up,
that's
straight up,
paying you,
straight
you
up.
are voting for them, they are giving, you will definitely work on it. So getting somebody willing to pay for whatever you are voting from the onset solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Gives you focus, frees time for you to do what matters, the work that matters, and makes you move faster. Every other thing is just noise and attention seeking.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to, then all the best.
Honestly, like I really like the fact that Sedem, your inputs are just so straight to the point. It's like no nonsense. I mean, I've been bent enough long enough to know, okay, so this is it, and then this is how the game flows. I'm so grateful that we've had you guys on this call today, because I even moderating the conversation, I believe I've learned so much, and I wish we could have a second one. It looks like our time is already coming to an end, so I'd want to leave. I'd want to make room for about 3 questions. So if you've got a question, please raise your hand and then let me just get you started. If you've got any questions, all right, Basil, you could get started. Basil,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah.
Okay. So in talking about your first-time users, those who start using it from the onset, and they help you build the MLP, minimum lovable product, is the only benefits they get the value that your solution grants them, or are there other benefits that they may get?
You said them. Could you take the
Yeah,
stage?
can you repeat? We don't even have time, but just repeat it once again. Sorry, I was distracted.
Okay, so I'm asking for those who are going to be using your product from the onset,
Yep.
the benefit they get, the value they get from being your first time users, is it only the value that your MVP and MLP grants them, or are there other ways they can benefit from being first time users?
Well, that's a marketing thing, but you decide that. And it largely depends on who you are building for. If it's a B2C, a B2B, or B2G. I mean, if it's a B2B, it's a business problem they are trying to solve. It's a pain point. So just the whole point that your product is actually going to solve their problem is enough. It's enough, how they call it, incentive for them to actually be on board already. You don't need to do anything else. But mostly B2C product, people would want to throw in maybe lifetime access or first few months you don't pay something, yeah, but then that's a marketing thing, that's on you. So long as somebody is willing to pay for it, something you are building and you are building for them, I don't think you have to bother about giving them any extra incentive. But if you think giving them extra incentive will help your product go a long way, why not? Experiment, and if it works, keep it. If it does not work, close it and move forward.
Awesome. Yeah, hoping Basil, you're good. Awesome. All right, so we have Bless.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm not sure if what I'm about to say has been already said, but I wanted to know um, how how that if I'm making, building or designing a product for the market, whether it will actually fit for the market or whether customers will really love to use that product.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty much straightforward. We don't have time. Talk to the people you are building for before you go. That's simple as that. Don't
So we
sit in
should
your room.
make the research, talk to them, and then build the product. Don't rely
Of
on.
course,
Okay.
you are not building for yourself, so why are you in your room? Talk to the people you are building for before you go.
Okay, so the thing is, what I'm working on right now is an already existing. We're working on an already existing industry. So I want to use the knowledge from there to build on that product.
Talk to the people in the industry, find the loopholes, find where you can do better, find someone willing to pay for what you are doing better. Go ahead and do it. If you don't find it, try more somewhere. If you can't find it, do something else. Don't waste
All
your
right, I think that sounds okay. Thank you very much.
Sedem, you chop.
time. Sure. I'm looking at the time. We have
I'm
some.
sending I'm sending one. I'm
I
sending
think you know
one.
my number. Yeah, send both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I'm
sending.
trying to be quite very honest and straightforward with them. We are all
Oh,
adults.
that's
No, we don't have
straight
a lot
up,
of this.
straight up. I'm sending
Wow.
fans.
Thank you so much, Sedem, and thank you very much, Isaiah. It looks like our time is actually quite up, so I don't say a very big thank you to everybody for joining us for today's conversation. It's been a very interesting one. Um, Personally, I've learned so much. I learned way more than I'd even anticipated, and I'm definitely looking forward to if we could actually have like another version of this very same conversation where we just delve deeper into some of these things that have already been taught. I mean, at the end of the day, if someone is not ready to pay for it, I better go and sleep, as Sedem says. So, I'd like to say a very big thank you to everybody for coming around. It's been a very insightful conversation.